in Youngstown. Now we in Columbus. So as you can see, the transition that I've made, and the reason why I grind so hard is because my mom grinds so hard. Even still to this day, my mom just grinds so hard, and all she ever wanted was just for us to have the best. You know what I mean? And take us from the hood. I guess people call it the suburbs, I guess, but you know, like I said, I just want to thank my mom for giving me life and actually taking me from Youngstown to Columbus. I mean, as you can see, I mean, there's a huge difference. You know what I mean? And just a little bit about my transition into moving to Columbus. I mean, I'm blessed and thankful because Youngstown is a city where a lot of people don't make it out. You know what I mean? At one point, we were the highest murder rate in Ohio. Youngstown was, you know, and the police find bodies in McKelvey Lake probably 2-3 times out the week still to this day, you know, and that's why I always say, like, I'm so blessed to have a wonderful mother like my mom, because she took us from nothing and now we actually got something, you know. So for me, this is why I grind on the daily. You know what I mean? The adjustments that I've made, you know, moving here as a young pup, you know, really just made me realize, but it also humbled me in a really good way, you know. And so for me, it was just always just, you know, just paying attention to my mom and really just seeing how she used to work so hard, like having 2 and 3 jobs, and, you know, just always telling us, I'm gonna get y'all out of here one way or another, you know. And for me, that's big because it lets me know that my mom has always cared for us and made sure that we were good, you know. And now that I'm an adult now, you know what I mean, some of the things that I've been through, like I said, I've been through losing my brother, my sister, my uncle, just a lot of important people. And, you know, I just want to say, you know, to the youth, just grind and grind hard. If you know your family's not in a stable situation financially or anything like that, you know, just continue to grind no matter what, and stay focused on the task at hand, because it's so easy to get off track. It's very, very easy to get off track, and what I don't want y'all to do is get off track, you know. But a little more about what I do now in the community. You know, I'm in and out of high schools. I currently work in an elementary school right now because I love kids, you know, and I want to be that person to where somebody can be like, oh, Rob Davis. When you hear Rob Davis, you hear, oh, he's a basketball coach. He loves kids. He mentors kids. He tries to help kids in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, that's big for me. You know, a lot of people don't know about this, you know, but I mean, I was fortunate at 26 years old. At 25 years old, I had a miscarriage because I could have had my first, my ex-girlfriend could have had my first child. You know what I mean? And that's something a lot of people don't know about, you know, and that hurt me to the core as well. You know what I mean? And still to this day, I still get up and grind every day and know that, you know, God doesn't make mistakes. You know, granted, I wanted my baby here, but I know that God doesn't make mistakes, and I know that God is going to put you in the predicament when the time is right. So all in all, I'm just gonna tell y'all this. Remember to stay positive, grind hard, and just do something that a lot of people don't get a chance to do. You know, if that means you live in the hood or you live in low income housing, just make sure y'all grind, and I mean grind hard, because as you can see, you know, ain't no grind gonna stop me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna grind regardless. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I can say, you know what I mean? And I'll thank my mother again for everything with every bone in me. You know what I mean? You the real MVP, Ma. I'm just taking over now. Love you. That's where it all started. My high school career, baby. Eastmore Academy. Once a warrior, always a warrior. Man, my big brother, Ray Woods, took me in under his wing when I came in as a freshman at EA.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we done a lot together, you know what I mean? And he's the reason why I was on varsity. Believe it or not, he the one that really just put that drive in me and told me, look, you the next catch and kill. You know what I mean? So that's the nickname that Eastmore gave me. Most importantly, he pushed it. You know, just a little bit about our friendship. I mean, it goes beyond basketball. You know, when things were tough for me, you know what I mean, at the high school level, you know what I mean, I always went to my big bro Ray, and he always took me under his wing, you know what I mean, and, you know, just really just pouring out my heart, you know what I mean, this is my brother. So whatever I go through and whatever he goes through, we're gonna go through it together. Right. And, you know what I mean, and that continues on now as adults, you know what I mean? But it's just funny because, you know, usually when you make friendships, relationships, or anything like that in high school, they usually die on after you guys graduate. But it ain't dead. It ain't dead. Life is just beginning for us.
Absolutely.
You know, back in 2000, when we win the district championship, 2008. 2008. That was probably that was the best thing. I mean, that was the best moment of our life at Eastmore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just always losing to DeSales in the Division II district championship. You know what I mean? To knock them off in 2008. I mean, the city was ringing. The city was buzzing. So, you know, I'm gonna give it over to Ray, and I'm gonna let him give y'all some more insight on I mean, what we did in these buildings over here at Eastmore.
I mean, really, it came down to really, like I said, I grew up in the south side of Columbus, Ohio, man. So where I grew up, things weren't given. You had to take it. And it was definitely a battle every day, not on the court, but just in life in general, being surrounded by gangs and drugs. And knowing Rob coming from Youngstown, we all know if you grew up in Ohio, you know Youngstown is not a promising area to grow up in with all the things that surrounded in that area as well. So that's what brought us together. And like I said, being at Eastmore Academy, man, being on the court, it was kind of our escape. And I'll never forget the first time I met Rob. I kept hearing his name, catch and kill, catch and kill. And I played varsity at the time, and I'm like, man, what is they talking? Like, what is this coming from? And so I remember I went in the gym after practice because we practiced from 5 to 7, and 7 to 9 is when the JV practice. And I'm on the side court working on my game and stuff like that, man. And I kept hearing, catch a kill in the corner, catch a kill in the corner, catch a kill in the corner. I mean, every time he caught it, it was going in. And so I remember going up to Coach Brooks, and I'm like, man, why is this dude on JV? Like, you know what I mean? I was asking him, like, why you on JV? And he used to tell me, like, you can't defend. And so that's when I remember you started voluntarily coming to the Saturday morning practices and working out with, at the time, the best guard in the state was Ron Stewart, a.k.a. Stu. And you started working out with Stu, and then you started coming to weekly practices, and then it came to a point where my senior year, that following year, man, like you elevated yourself, and really it wasn't really about me, man. It was about the fact that you was just as competitive as me, and we pushed each other straight up. We pushed each other, and I remember that game that kind of like cemented you on varsity was against Independence. He hit a buzzer beater 3, and you could tell his favorite player was Kobe. You know what I mean? He started from the right side of the court, penetrated to the middle, and boom. And that's when I told Coach, as one of the captains, that if we wanted to make a run in the tournament, we needed some shooters. And the first person I thought about was my little bro. But like you said, I mean, it's more than basketball for us. Basketball is definitely a ministry. I mean, we're able to give back to the community, and I've always wanted a little brother, somebody that I could, you know, look after. And and make sure that, you know, he's making his own decisions, but I'm there to guide him.
Definitely, that's
and,
what it's all
you know,
about.
help him when he falls. But that's where it started, and this is where it started. And we laugh about it because we started coaching together after high school, and I think we only took one loss in 3 years of coaching. So, you know, I mean, we have a pedigree to win, and not just, like I said, in basketball, but in life. And, I mean, we work together, and, you know, it's just a blessing to see Rob come from where he came from. And, I mean, even now, I mean, he's dealing with a lot of loss, and to see him get up every day and keep going, that's just the pedigree of a champ, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the pedigree of who he is. It's in his DNA.
Appreciate that, man.
And like I said, where we come from, you know, things are not given.
No, not at all.
And we have a lot of things that we have lost in life, but we keep going. We keep going because there's somebody out there that may take our experience and use it as a blessing. So from the mentoring to the coaching to the hoop life, I mean, it's been a great experience. Definitely a great experience. You know, I'm glad to be a part of what Rob is giving back, even with, you know, coaching.
Glad to have you, bro. Glad to have you. I mean that.
People like you said, you know, people die off, and it's just a growth thing. But I mean, to see that we growing together, man, it's.
You know, I could come back to Eastmore at any given moment, you know what I mean, because I still have coaches that actually still coach here, you know what I mean, and they'll open up the door right for us, you know what I mean, and really just tell our story. And that's what it's all about for me and Ray right now. You know, we're trying to get in the community even more now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, and really give our story, you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, our story needs to be heard because it's going to motivate the youth now that we have out here today. You know what I mean? And it's tough because right now we have a lot of drugs, alcoholism, and kids dying at a young age. And, you know, granted, we may not be able to stop it.
No, we can't stop it,
but
we can change
But we could change the culture. We could change the culture. If that means we need to go to the hood and grab these kids and pull them all into a gym, I can rest assure you, it'll work.
Yeah.
It'll work because like we've always said, basketball is just a guiding tool. Basketball is a guiding tool. Now, whether you take the lesson from the person that's giving it to you, I mean, who knows? But for me, I'm going to continue to do what I do best, and that's give back to these kids out in Central Ohio.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yes, sir. 3 times.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, baby. Eat more. You already know.
That's what it is.